Greetings, it is I, Susie Q, here with another kind of video. And this was related to the podcast that I did back in 2018. And right now we're working with question 4 of 41 questions. And we're going to go ahead and get started right now. All right. Ever have a moment when you decide to upgrade your questions? Ever notice that you attract something new by reframing your questions? Ever notice how your body feels by attracting something new? What if you decide to ask better questions? So today is question 4 of 41. And the question is, who is your closest friend that you can bounce ideas off of? Number 1, check in. Oh yeah, my closest BFF, drumroll please, has always been my highest performing coach, mentor, leader, muse, teacher, trainer, confidant, friend, helper, expert, wisdom keeper, freestyle acrobat, miracle maker, artisan, thespian, and saloon financier, spoken word enthusiast, yogi, cosmic experiencer, bohemian, and famous superhero of the spinning rock. Okay, my closest BFF is a still small voice within me that holds the key to unlocking my juiciest means of attracting that which I most desire. Number 2, soul spirit reflects. When we begin to tap into the inner sanctum of our own higher self, we find we intuitively attract the right people to be part of an unfolding experience. While practicing the arts of healing energies, there are times when we find we need a little bit of help. In this case, we have one delicious possibilitarian of a muse that dives right in with effective action. This divine soul spirit cuts right to the chase in dissolving negative or outdated core beliefs and or early conditioning. Further, this muse opens a space to discern the underlying emotion associated and then dives a little deeper in the initial point or origin of a relational understanding of how this human is now operating in an outdated system. Awareness comes from the muse of your knowing. Pay close attention to the soul spirit friend, as this one in your life is simply marrying you. Sit for this just for a moment. Number 3, upfront dignity. Yes, we recommend that while you hold court with another, that you see the other as a semblance of you. When you come to the plateau of your own understanding, the other that you attract in your field is the highly acclaimed and revered master of your next journey. Imagine for a moment you are standing at a staircase, marble stairs too many to count. You intuitively know to access this opening as you take one step after another. At the landing, there are 4 copper doors, ornate with engraved passages of time and place. Off to the side, there is a much smaller wooden door. To enter it, you must crawl on your hands and knees to enter. All the while, the 4 ornate copper doors are shimmery and beholden of some type of majesty for sure. Herein comes the other, who takes you by the hand, looks into your eyes, and your heart listens intently. You now have made your choice. You leave behind your gear. You get on your hands and knees. Then you begin to crawl, belly on the ground, as you open the small wooden door. When you look up upon entering, a whole new world is there, more fantastical than your own imagination could create. You look back to see the backside of where the 4 copper doors would have been. Each door had one word etched on it. Together it read as, listen to your heart. All right. So that transmission is complete, and we'll be working with number 5 question. And the next one we'll be working with is, are you able to discern how the mistakes you made are actually valuable learning experiences? Oh my gosh. I don't know. It's been really fun, going back to some of my podcast stuff back from 2018 and just kind of like going into a video with it. And sometimes when I do the podcast, it's easier because there's no like more ego. There's no ego with it. But when I'm on a video, there's a little bit of ego there. So, but with that one experience that we were working with the wooden door, um, some people see things as fabulous and wonderful or extravagant or something, but there was another energy that came in and suggested that this being could just try to go into that little teeny tiny wooden door. So let's just say, I mean, maybe it was such a small space, but he decided with the agreement with the other that came in to say, why don't you just go to the wooden door, the little wooden door. And as soon as he began to, I think this was like a male energy. I think it was more male energy that was going through the wooden door. But it just felt like all of a sudden he had a body, and then eventually he went into this other space and he could fit right into that small wooden door. And then all of a sudden, when he went in there and started to see how beautiful it was, that the other, sometimes we call them the Westings or the others, that they're helping us to have a better experience with our choices that we make in our life. And it's so fun when we start kind of processing and listening and hearing that still small voice that is helping us to have a better experience. Maybe those four copper doors might have been fabulous, but I think in fact they weren't really truly doors. They might have been just a semblance of something. So that choice with the wooden door, the teeny tiny one, was the best one for this being. I don't know what kind of a being it was, right? So all of these states of consciousness that we work with, we're creating more goodness in our field. We're feeling more lighter in our body, and we start noticing the distinctions that from some of these stories, that I've written. Some of these distinctions may show up kind of like what's happening. But then you start maybe getting a little bit more guidance for yourself, a little bit more understanding about who you truly are and what you maybe are truly wanting to have in your field now. And so when you start working with some of these fields, these opportunities and choices, that little wooden door kind of created a whole new kaleidoscope of beauty. It was so amazing. So I think for each one of us, as we're working with what we do and what we create and what we love and what we experience, we can have that too. We can kind of go back into some of these stories. And again, I was like a little kid as a fairy tale person. I was reading all the fairy tales, and I would always read the books over and over again. I loved all the books. I love, and even when my kids were younger, I used to do a lot of stuff with books, for children's books. And I would be organizing these beautiful independent books that were so sweet and so beautiful. And I was always the first one when we started, having these events with those children books. And then I would always be the first one to dive into the books, and to dive into the boxes. And then I loved all of those sweet sentiments from the children's stories. So that was part of my vibe, and I think part of my vibe always is part of that with the children's books. So I hope you're having a great day, and sending you so much love and and namaste.